Women manage homes, men manage money. The goddess of wealth is a woman. And yet, as women, we don't feel that we have the power or we have the ability to create wealth for ourselves.
In Lakshmi, tell me some of the challenges that have come your way.
The architecture of how a conventional banking and financial services industry is made doesn't lend itself to the behavior of women. Kalari has come out with a report which says for every 100 rupees that is invested, only about 2 or 3 rupees goes to women.
That's heartbreaking to hear. Wealthy families or industrialist families, how did you end up sitting at the main table?
I was 19, my father got me married. You still need to make that effort to come to the table, be at the table, because people are not going to invite you. Every other person I met would say, especially men, why do you need a separate platform for women?
I mean, that is a question that everybody asks.
We are nurturers, we are savers. Women themselves could add 4 lakh crores into the economy. You have to build a separate platform for what is 50% of our population.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Pink. My guest today is someone who's a household name for almost 1 million women in this country. In the very male-dominated sector of financial services, Preeti Rathi Gupta has carved out a niche for herself. She was managing director of Anand Rathi Associates, and she is now the founder of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is an app for financial services exclusively built for women. In this conversation, Preeti talks about the genesis of Lakshmi, why women in this country need to find their financial footing, how, very interestingly, she became a filmmaker, and what it means to be married early and yet create a sterling career for herself. Preeti, I'm going to begin with Lakshmi and then wind back. So, what I think is that your story, I was thinking about it some time back and I said, Vidya Balan is the one I would want on screen to represent your story.
We thought of that as well.
Oh, great. We are on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm happy because there are so many different elements in your story. So somebody who can, represent all of those. And I thought of Vidya Balan. So I'm a huge fan.
I hope she hears this.
And she will. So what is Lakshmi and how did the idea come up?
Lakshmi is a money platform for women. I come from financial services. Building a company for so many years in the space, you realize women are missing. So you try and cope and you say, okay, let's get women into the organization so that then you're able to reach out to other women. But that doesn't solve the problem. Because even though you get women on this side of the fence, the architecture of how a conventional BFSI or a financial services, banking and financial services industry is made doesn't lend itself to the behavior of women. So I think over a period of time, I realized in a lot of small and big ways, we tried to solve for it. But I think it slowly sort of that realization happened that you have to build a separate platform for what is 50% of our population. Not participating in the markets, not creating their financial security, and slowly retiring towards poverty. And being where I was, Sangeeta, I could not, it was a personal pain point. Because I could see my friends, I could see colleagues at work, I could see staff at home. And then I had a growing up daughter. And I said, that's not what I want her to think about money or live her life in that format. So I think one fine day, and this actually the culmination of all of these, thoughts coming to me time and again, was when I was at Harvard Business School doing an executive program. And we were asked to make a pitch for a completely sort of, blue sky, blue ocean, whatever you call it, idea, and build a strategy around it, business strategy, go-to-market strategy. And I remember discussing this with my living group, which is, our immediate 8 people who would confer and, discuss things. And they loved the idea so much. Mutually decided that's the idea we're going to pitch together as a group in the classroom. And I'm thinking of a name, and I said, okay, let's call it Lakshmi. That was that one sudden spark of, call it creativity or that aha moment. Okay, let's call it Lakshmi, because it is a bit of a dichotomy that we worship in our country. We worship the goddess. The goddess of wealth is a woman. And yet, as women, we don't feel that we have the power or we have the ability to create wealth for ourselves. So that's how the journey began.
Do you have like one or two examples of what the difference is between Lakshmi and, say, Anand Rathi?
I think I'll possibly compare Lakshmi to a lot of digital platforms. The reason is that, when the world of financial services went digital, there were a lot of new age fintechs, right, where one could go and invest their money. And the difference between Lakshmi and a lot of those digital platforms, because we are also digital, we are an app,
Yeah.
is that we've solved for how a woman thinks about her money, how she behaves, as opposed to asking her to fall in line
Okay.
with what has been the default behavior, which has been men.
Hmm.
I mean, when the industry started, look, I think we come from an overhang of, women manage homes, men manage money.
Absolutely.
And therefore, the industry, obviously, men took to it much faster and much quicker. All financial services talks about life in 3 big buckets, right? So your education, then you're working, and when you're working is when you're married, you have children, etc., and then you have retirement, which is a very linear
Yeah.
path to life.
Yeah.
But as women, we don't have a linear path. We have
Okay.
mini retirements.
Okay.
I mean, we get married, we drop off. If we have a career, we sort of take a step back because, say, my husband, I'm married in some other city.
Correct.
I'm going to leave my job and then move to that city.
I have
Depends.
done that. I have done that. Yes.
So then you'll know this, right?
Yes.
When I have children, I will take a step back. I mean, maternity breaks are a thing, but beyond that also,
Yes.
there is a lot in my life that I'm adjusting to. So my career does take a break then, as opposed to a linear growth in career. COVID told us caregiving is primarily the responsibility of women. That's when
Yeah.
they step back from
Yeah.
their careers, right?
Yeah.
Even today in a normal Indian family, you will see that if there is caregiving required, it is a woman,
It is the woman.
right, who's expected to do it. And forget the world expecting, she herself thinks like
Yeah.
that. No,
Yeah.
I must, step back from my job
Yeah.
because my primary responsibility is to take care of the family. So what this means is a lot of mini retirements for us. And our life is cyclical.
Hmm.
So we start our careers, then we take a break. So it's 4 steps ahead, 2 steps back, then we start again, we begin again. All of financial services assumes that if you've started investing, if you're doing an SIP, you will continue to do an SIP, you will continue to increase that SIP
Hmm.
because as you grow in your career, you earn more, you'll
Earn
save more. So you will, obviously do a higher SIP or whatever disciplined investing. Whereas for women, it doesn't hold true. She's invested for this one goal, she's taken a break, then she needs to redesign, revisit all of those. So, understanding that for her, a near-term goal, and which is why women are so, people would tell me when I started Lakshmi, Sangeeta, I think every other person I met would say, especially men, would say, why do you need a separate platform for women?
I mean, that is a question that everybody asks.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I had a very hard time explaining then. Today I can explain because it's been 5 years of building Lakshmi. And today I know exactly what is different on the platform. But 5 years back, the only way I had to answer that question was, then why is it that all digital platforms today, all financial fintechs today, or even traditional financial services, the percentage of women is less than 10. We are 50% of the population. Then why are we such a small number? And that 10% also includes men who invest on behalf of the women, which could be fathers, sons, husbands, right? You may not necessarily have the woman taking charge and investing. So beginning to that point to really understanding, like this one example I gave you. And then people would say, oh, women, they are very risk averse. Women are not going to invest. two questions again I was asked. One is women don't take risk, so they are not going to invest. Oh, they are good with FDs and gold, etc. And second, very because I that's what made me think I come from privilege. When a couple of people told me, why would men in India allow women to manage money?
See, this word allow creeps up in every single conversation that I have, and it
Yeah.
bugs me so much. But
Correct.
yes, I have to share this story with you. And now I mean, we are on camera and this is going to go public. But I think it's not something very odd that when I started my career and I was working, I would get a paycheck. Before I got married, my father had full oversight on what I was earning, how I was saving, and where I was investing.
Sure.
And in hindsight, I honestly feel he wasn't a great investor himself. I mean, he made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And then he is leading me. But I knew no better. I was, of course, very young at that
Sure.
time and I had never earned before. This was
Yeah.
my first job. So, I ceded all control to him.
Mm.
And he would be like, ab jai LIC mein dal do, isme, usme. In those days, instruments were far
Sure.
fewer also.
Yeah.
Once you get hold of the reins, it's hard to let go.
Yeah.
So he had got hold of my reins. So then I got married, and for some time he continued with that
Yeah.
behavior. But then it was the family that would decide
Yeah.
how that money is to be deployed.
Sure.
And I laugh now, but I think that at that time, I didn't even know the rate of interest that an LIC policy was giving. I had a policy, but I was so oblivious
Right.
that ये तो कोई और करता है, करने दो.
Yeah.
That is, so this is my personal story. So
Yeah.
I suppose many people find themselves in the same boat.
Yeah. I think it's the story of pretty much every household in India.
Yeah.
And I feel, Sangeeta, I say this all the time, that our fathers, husbands, brothers come from a good place. They feel that, okay, let me take that burden off.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. Because it's very important for men to be a part of this conversation. And I tell them that you may think that you're taking a burden off, but you don't know what you're taking away from your wife or your daughter or your sister or even your mother. You're taking away that ability to build that skill, to literally grow their wings. Because when you say, I always refer to this movie that men are always like main hu na, right? And they have to stop saying that. They have to say, do it yourself. You have to manage. You'll make mistakes, like we are allowed. When we learn how to cycle or swim, we make mistakes, right? We
And then
fall
we
down from
learn.
the cycle, but we learn.
We learn.
And the earlier you start, the smaller are your mistakes. So as soon as your child starts saving or earning, you should put them onto that journey of saying, okay, you should invest your money. It's good to have oversight. It's good to say, okay, I'm there to, for any support that you may need, any advice that you may need. But I'm not going to manage it. You have to manage it. And I
Yeah.
think that is one gift my father gave me, for which I am forever grateful. When I was 16, he called me to his office and he said, look, this is our portfolio. I want you to manage it from today.
Wow.
And that today, in hindsight, I feel, it is such a privilege to have a father who said, I want you to build this skill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's very important.
The other thing that is always amazed me is this caricature that women have कि हाथ में पैसा दे दोगे तो खर्च कर देगी. I mean, that women are out there to buy their saris, to buy their jewelry. And this is the typical narrative.
Right.
So I'll give an example. Somebody in the family passed. When that elderly person passed, in his will, he left his entire portfolio for his daughter-in-law to manage.
Wow.
They have 2 sons, and he obviously thought that the wealth will stay protected if she manages it rather than he.
Yeah.
But people around were so critical and so skeptical, saying, what does she know about managing money? What does she know about the stock market or, this portfolio management? She's not even well educated. How will she?
Yeah.
So, this is the kind of narrative that floats around
Yeah.
in society, in our society. So, how does one challenge that? What is the actual reality about paisa de do, she'll spend it all?
Like you rightly said, right? It's over the years become what you call caricature and today's generation calls memes, right? Which is all about making fun of the fact that women are spenders.
Ah,
But I think if you go back to our innate behavior, we are nurturers, we are savers. So even when you see a woman spending, you don't know that she's already taken out some money from what she's going to spend and put it away somewhere, which is not visible, which she's not telling you, right? And demonetization showed us all of that.
Yeah.
So she saved money
Yeah.
and then she's spending, right? And that narrative, it has been fueled by the fact that women haven't actively participated in taking decisions on what should happen with the family savings. She's taking decisions on what she's saved personally. She's full agency. Even if I'm a homemaker and I've saved money, I will not allow anybody to take a call on what to do with that money that I've saved.
Correct. Yeah.
But the family savings is what she's not taken very active, most probably because she's not invited to contribute
She
to that
doesn't
decision
have
making.
agency. Yeah.
Absolutely. And she also does not put up her hand and say, I want to be a part of this. So I think that that's how the narrative has unfolded. But if you look at, Warren Buffett says, right? And I give this example all the time. His tagline is invest like a woman.
Okay.
So if the world's greatest investor says that, you have to take him at face value.
Take
And
notice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the reason he says that is because we have the right attributes to manage money. Everybody in the financial world, if you tell them, okay, how do I become, what is the right behavior for being a good investor? And they will say you take balanced and informed decisions, what is termed as conservative, but take that balanced approach, have your right information, stay disciplined, don't get carried away with, both fear and greed. And actually, women have all of these right attributes. In fact, I give this example. I was just very recently sharing the stage with a very good friend and a wealth manager. And we were both sort of being asked questions on, I, of course, spoke on women and money, and he was speaking on markets and what's happening with the markets. And, the question on everybody's mind, because there's a war going on, is what do we do?
Sure.
And the few things he said was that, do not try and time the markets. Just stay invested. If you've invested, continue to stay invested. Second, don't get, because the markets, it's actually an opportunity to participate. And third is that asset allocate, which is essentially diversification. Yeah. I'm sitting on the stage and thinking, isn't that what we always do as women, right? Even if we don't have access to capital markets, we're still, first of all, when we save, even if it's money put in the cupboard, we don't put it in one place. We put it in 3 different places, right? So even there, you're doing diversification. If we have a goal in mind, Sangeeta, even if you're not investing, even if we're saving, no matter what happens, right? If I'm saving for my child's education, come hail, come storm, I will continue to put that money away.
Yeah.
I will scrimp and save on myself.
Yeah.
But I will continue to put that money away. Right? So that's the second attribute.
Totally.
Third, who's buying when there are sales?
Yeah.
When there's a sale of any sort, we reach out to women, right? So the right behavior that when the markets are on sale and they're falling down, you go and buy more, right? And
very true.
Fourth, when we buy gold, for example, that's one investment we do. And I'm thinking in my head that when women buy gold, even in their head, if they're thinking this is something that's my safety net, you will rarely see them go and sell that gold.
Yeah.
Right? So they are sitting tight with their investments with a discipline. So we have all the right attributes.
Yeah.
So that myth that exists needs to be broken. And it'll only get broken when women continuously sort of display that by way of investing their money, by way of creating their own financial security, by way of being part of money conversations and decisions in households.
I'm just curious, in Lakshmi, when you're talking about financial inclusion for women,
Right.
where does it begin? Does it begin with just this basic literacy about what women are capable of doing or what they are entitled
Sure.
to do? Does
Yeah.
it start there?
So I think it starts, I mean, again, like I said, I had aha moments. When we started Lakshmi, I thought, acha, it's the awareness and the literacy that is missing, right? And once you have that tailored and made relatable to women, then they will say, okay, now I've understood, now I can invest. But there was actually one more big ocean to cross, which is called the confidence gap,
Okay, yes.
where she's saying, okay, I trust myself and I trust this platform that I will be able to take whatever action I take, I will live with it. It's something that that I'm capable of doing.
Okay.
And I think that confidence gap is so large because of many reasons. One, because of our social orientation. Men have always managed money better. In our head, we are thinking men do it better. Because men are always talking about it. We've never heard women sit in a room and talk about money. What are you doing with your investments, right?
Yeah.
So one, that overhang. Second, I think just our earning capacity. There are very few women who've actually, in their entire career, earned as much as a man would in the same position.
Right.
I mean, blame it on one, women's participation in workforce, first of all. We struggle.
As you said, we have many retirement moments.
Yeah. So her participation in workforce. I mean, even today, urban India has only 28% women working, right? And therefore, the ones who are not working anyways have, like, they're starting from, zero, right? Second is the earning gap, where you're earning less. So gender pay gap, etc. Where typically a woman and man in the same role, a woman will land up earning anywhere between 20 to 25% less.
Goodness.
And because of these, earning less, that social overhang, nobody's talking money, women don't actually manage money, and then I earn less. My first instinct is always to build my safety nets. So we are over-indexed on safety instruments, right? Which is our fixed deposits, savings bank account, whatever is, our safety bet, we're there. I think it's taking that call on really saying, okay, do I have the confidence to put away some amount of my money into higher growth assets like the equity markets, or I will put even insurance there, by the way, right? But let's put aside insurance for the time being. So I think that's where women get completely left out, and building that confidence gap that yes, you can begin, you can begin with even small amounts, but your journey towards building your financial security is not, okay, let me just take care of my near term. Right now, once that's taken care of, which in our lifetime is always on, right? Because you're starting, then you have children, then there's some other responsibilities. But it has to simultaneously make your future, your long-term goals also happen. And that's how we've, on the platform, if you come onto the Lakshmi platform, we bridge that confidence gap in very small actions and embedded in the way we deal with money. So a woman's journey on the Lakshmi platform begins with Lakshmi Pay, which is UPI, which we are all very, very, it's intuitive to us today, right? So she starts with Lakshmi Pay, and slowly we embed everything that's very, very innate behavior to us. For example, savings. Every woman today, if in her head she's good with money, if she's saving money, because that's how we've been engineered to think, right? So we start with there, whatever is your comfort. Okay, let's start by saving more, spending wisely, saving more. Then that saving goes, how do you make it smart savings? And then from smart savings, she's understood, okay, to make this smart savings, these are the products that I need to use. And then she starts taking larger calls on her money. Larger goals she starts addressing. So it's a very seamless journey, as opposed to the way financial services has typically made it is silos.
I wish this was the approach that was for everyone. Why just women?
Yeah.
when you're a youngster, you don't have confidence, whether you're a male or a female. When you start your journey, you don't have this confidence at all, and you are
Right.
looking back onto your elders or whoever. But I'm saying that otherwise, this is not the behavior that is part of our DNA.
No, I'm going to correct you there, Sangeeta. I think I used to only hear it, but I think in our lifetime we realize and we understand. Men think in compartments.
Oh, really?
They
Okay.
can compartmentalize.
Yes.
We
they
as
can.
women cannot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how even our financial behavior is.
Mm.
We cannot compartmentalize.
Mm.
But men will compartmentalize, right? So we don't, and because that journey is built in compartments, we travel the first two compartments, acha payment and banking,
Mm.
and then we leave the rest.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's one journey that connects all the dots, it's easier for us
There's
to
a
traverse.
fluidity
Yeah.
to decision making.
And by the way, we recruit in Anand Rathi, we recruit about 200 to 300 chartered accountants every year,
Okay.
fresh,
Hmm.
right? And every year I do an orientation with them. So
Hmm.
everybody from the senior management of the company will do an orientation.
Hmm.
And I ask that room full of boys and girls,
Hmm.
how many of you invest your money?
Hmm.
And all the boys raise their hands.
Hmm.
And they will even they are super excited at this
Yeah,
question. And
yeah.
like, ma'am, I even trade, I do this intraday trading also and all of that. And the girls are quietly sitting with just one or two of them raising their hands.
Interesting.
And the rest will say, yes, my money is being invested, but my father does it.
Ah.
Or my brother does it. And that's when you're just beginning your career.
So it's a wake up call.
So the behavior is actually men do take very intuitively to it, also because the industry allows you to build trust with transaction.
Mm.
So the first thing that the industry says is, chalo ye lo, transaction karo.
Mm.
And we as women will say, no, let me wait and watch what
Mm.
happens to my money. Only then will I transact, right?
Mm.
And because I don't have time to wait and watch, let somebody else do it for me.
Mm.
So I think that's where that gap exists.
So Lakshmi is one initiative, right? And more power to it also.
Yeah.
And one of my questions going forward is, how do you see the future?
Sure.
What are the plans? But I'm saying in society in general,
Yeah.
is there, do you think, a shift in even mass communication, like
Sure.
advertising, just how communication is built around finance and savings? I mean, you see these, nowadays there are these public interest ads on mutual funds.
Right.
Am I mistaken, or there are no women in those ads?
I think that's changing. The campaign Mutual Fund Sahi Hai. I think it's been one of the most successful campaigns in financial services.
It has, yes.
Right? And interestingly, of late, we've had more women be a part of that of those campaigns.
Okay, wonderful.
I will still go back to saying, who's looking at those campaigns, right?
Mm.
There are more men looking at those campaigns than women are. Because the minute you have a mutual fund campaign, women start doing, okay, let me do something else, right? So I think who's listening, who's watching is also very important. And I think mass communication still does not address. I will give you an example. We actually in Anand Rathi made this advertisement during the IPL times. This was about 4-5 years back, right?
Okay.
So it was a series of 6 advertisements. And I told the agency that why don't we in 3 of them have, the supers that come at the end? Why don't we have a woman say it in a woman's voice? That guy was shocked.
The advertising guy was shocked.
He was shocked. He's saying, no, they don't, in the industry, that's not done. It won't be taken seriously.
Okay.
And I actually took offense to it.
Yeah.
I said, being a woman, you can't be saying that it can't be taken seriously.
That's
and actually,
sad. Yeah.
We did 2-3 with women super overlays. And I have to, I had to sort of take my words back. It wasn't that well taken.
Okay.
Yeah, because this was 5 years back. Nobody's expecting women to say something around finance and be taken seriously. And that, I think, is a slow change even today.
Yeah.
There are things that we are doing at Lakshmi. I mean, today we have 12 lakh women on the platform. There are a lot of other people who are talking about, a lot of women communities are now aware. They talk about, the money, the power that the flex that really money brings you. So there are lots of conversations, but they're still at a very, okay, let's do this as an initiative. Right? Which is why the day I started Lakshmi, I was sure I don't want to do it as an initiative. I want to start this as a for-profit company so that the world sees that women are profitable customers. And then everybody wakes up and says, okay, we need to service women.
Tell me some of the challenges that have come your way.
Well,
I know there have been many, but okay, let's stick to the top three,
yeah,
for
absolutely.
instance.
I think one, when you build such large companies, run large format companies, to actually come back to ground zero and build what today the world says startup, um, is challenging. Finance is my DNA. I understand financial products, I understand financial markets. Technology wasn't my DNA. So, really unlearning all the things that I'd done in a particular way and then relearning. And technology being a large part of it.
Sure, it's an app. So, yeah.
So that I think was the biggest challenge I had to give. I still do have to give hours and hours to keep not just abreast of financial markets, but also technology. And how can technology and the speed at which technology is progressing today.
Sure.
I mean, look at AI, right?
Yeah.
It's like a game changer.
Yeah.
So how do you keep abreast? How do you keep building, using all of that? Where does it end? And it needs the founders, sort of foresight, founders, intuitive thinking about the business. So I think that's been one big challenge. The second has been, and by the way, my children tell me that, Mom, we've never seen you work so hard as you do right now.
Wonderful. So if you get a compliment from your children, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think they're grateful that, okay, she's busy. But other than that, I think when Riddhi, my co-founder, and me, we went out to fundraise, again, very challenging. It is not a myth that women receive, from every 100 rupees, and Vani Kola, who's invested in Lakshmi, so her company Kalari has come out with a report which says for every 100 rupees that is invested, only about 2 or 3 rupees goes to women.
Okay.
So it's just hard to
That's heartbreaking to hear.
It is heartbreaking. And there are many reasons for it. But as a woman entrepreneur who has a proven track record, when you go out to raise funds, when I went out, people were like, first of all, why do you need a platform for women? Second, men will not allow women to invest or manage money. Third was, why do you need money? I'm like, you don't ask that to all the other serial entrepreneurs or founders, that, okay, you've created wealth from that earlier, business that you had. So why do you need to raise capital for this?
Sure.
So I think it's still very challenging. Lakshmi by itself is not only is it a business proposition, but it's a business proposition with huge impact.
Yeah.
When a woman manages money, she makes her family stronger. The society becomes more resilient, and actually economy. I mean, we've come out with a report which says women themselves could add 4 lakh crores into the economy. So making economy so strong.
Yes.
Right?
That's incredible. But
that impact is amazing.
Yeah.
But impact, I think, even today is not well understood in our country. And I think these are challenges. Hopefully we'll outgrow them. And when women build, by the way, you'll see most women founders are building or solving a problem that has definitely some angle of impact in it.
Yeah.
So that was my second biggest challenge. But hopefully, thankfully we had some amazing people like Vani who understood the problem and came on board. Other than that, I think it's essentially being, a startup or a fintech where the average age of people in the team is about 26.
You look 26. So what's age got to do with it?
Right. I only wish I would behave 26, but I don't, unfortunately. So I think that's also been a learning. I won't put it as a challenge. There's a lot that I've learned from this generation. There's a lot that you take away. But there's also a lot that, you struggle with. I think this entire conversation of work-life balance. I mean, when I was 26, there was only work. And I don't blame them, because I think you come in an environment where there's so much of peer pressure, there's so much to do, that it's hard to, it's important for them to say, okay, I need a work-life balance, right? And that work-life balance, which while I'm not, I don't deny, everybody needs it. But your primary focus has to be your work, right? And
when it matters, when the chips are down.
not just when the chips are down. If you're expected a certain productivity, I
Yeah.
mean, you've committed
Sure,
to it, then
sure.
you have to figure out a way of doing it.
Sure.
And we're, I think, very given that I have two young kids, I've figured out a way of sort of communicating, and I'm like, okay, this is to be done whenever you can do it, but do
Okay,
it right
yeah,
by this
yeah.
this timeline.
Yeah.
So I think that has been an interesting journey,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping that's something that we can sort of solve for
Hmm.
to a very large extent. We have in Lakshmi, but my initial first few years were challenging, I have to say that.
Do you have a support group?
One thing that I'm very grateful, or I'm very happy that I took the step, was to get a co-founder. And today,
Yeah.
when you're building something like this, your co-founder actually becomes your biggest support system,
Sure.
because they
Yes.
understand what you're building.
Yes.
They understand the challenges. So we always sort of take out time and sit and say, okay, let's look at it now a little pragmatically. I will sort of vent whatever are my issues. She will vent what her issues are. To a point where I think sometimes we tell each other that, I tell Riddhi that I speak to you more than I speak to my husband now. Because it is.
You are at that stage of life.
Yeah, I mean, at 10 o'clock in the night, if something on the platform is showing some trouble signals, we are with each other on the call. Okay, what's happening, right?
It's a different kind of romance.
It's a different kind of romance. But
But within the industry, do you have any sort of support group, or like-minded people? Or
absolutely.
Like
So
that?
I think there are a few sort of, for example, in the Mumbai has now come up with its own Tech Entrepreneurs Association.
Okay.
Which is a great platform where everybody who's building using technology comes together on one platform. Mumbai was one place that was literally written off when it came to building technology or building new companies.
Yeah.
Any technology-based company
Yeah.
or startups. So I think that ecosystem has come together thanks to Team. That's what it's called. So that's one amazing support system. Second, I think even within the financial industries, thankfully there are now a few women leaders who are part of the industry. I wish we would get together more often. And I think what you've asked me is food for thought, that maybe we should sort of get together more often and discuss this.
Call me for one of those.
Yeah,
for me to
absolutely.
get some financial literacy. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
still learning.
Absolutely.
So now, okay, I said that, now Vidya Balan has to get young. Vidya Balan in the more mature phase also, I love
Also,
Vidya Balan.
yeah.
But now the young Vidya Balan,
Right.
which is this young woman who gets married off at the age of 19
Yeah.
in a very conventional Marwadi setup.
Yes.
So I was thinking of a quote. So one of my favorite shows is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes.
And in that, at one point, there's, I think, a Thanksgiving party. You know how the whole family gets together, and then the kids are put at a separate table.
Yeah.
And the grandfather, which is Abe Weissman, he tells his grandchildren, welcome to the Zen feeling of being at the most irrelevant table in the room. you
Yeah.
know? And usually,
Yeah.
even in these wealthy families or industrialist families, whatever, the women are put at that table.
Right.
They will have some venture.
Yeah.
But it will not be part of the core. It will be something, acha chalo shauk pura kar lo kind of venture.
Yeah.
How did you end up sitting at the main table is my question.
I was 19. My father got me married. He used to work with one of the largest conglomerates of India. So he, we didn't come from like wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think the biggest gift he gave me was when I was in college, he said, come manage our portfolios. So that had become part of DNA. I then interned with my uncle, who was a stockbroker. So I knew the business well, right? It was only when we decided to come together and form Anand Rathi as a company, is when we actually became entrepreneurs. Yes, my husband's side of the family, my husband himself was an entrepreneur, but not in financial services. It's only when we came together and we said, okay, we want to create a larger business, so let's join forces, is when we started the company. And it was like I said, they call Lakshmi a startup. Anand Rathi was a startup many years back.
Sure.
So that's how we started the company. I don't think so. Just playing a role in the inception of the company itself gave me the seat at the table. my struggle was different, which is every woman's struggle. When you have a child, you take a step back, right? And I've had two, so the step back happened, right? Then to come back to the company, that is something that back then, at least my daughters, when my daughter was born, it wasn't so well structured. By the time my son was born, there was a clear pathway to say, okay, there's a maternity leave, and therefore these are the steps, and therefore you come back, and this is what happens, right? So there were challenges, but I think my learning has been that even within families where women have played an important role in the inception of the business, you still need to make that effort to come to the table, be at the table, because people are not going to invite you.
Okay.
You have to get yourself there. You may not have to break the quintessential glass ceilings, but you still have to break these very, very fragile ecosystems where family and business comes together.
Yes.
And navigating that gets very, very tricky. You have to work for it, whether it's your own family. You have a child, most people will say, okay, now look after the child.
Yes.
I went to SPJN when my son was 8 months old, and I know my mother-in-law was very upset.
Okay.
She was like,
of course,
you have a young child, you should be looking after the child, which was the tradition, right?
Yeah.
But to say that, no, I will want to go back to studying because that's a part of my life that's left and I want to do it. And yet, but I had to make a commitment. Yes, I will balance everything, right? So that's what I mean to say when you have to navigate all of these family and business, wherever they sort of, integrate or intercept each other, you have to navigate those very skillfully. And it's something that you learn.
And
over a period of time.
And not sort of become a rebel and say, I go my way and everybody else the highway or something like that.
That's been my way. And
Yeah.
and I'm proud of the fact. I mean, people do it in different ways. But I think I did it in a very, where I kept a very open communication with the family. And I think that paid out very well for me, to a point where my mother-in-law was my biggest cheerleader, right? Where she said, no, don't worry, work, I'm here for the kids, etc. But the other problem in a lot of family businesses, and I think anybody who's from a family business will relate to it, no matter what you do, your company, the minute you step into your office, people start calling you bhabhi. Right? And that sort of instantly sort of signifies that ye to yahan, she's come to maybe time pass or, do administrative something,
She
etc.
symbolizes nepotism.
Correct. So where the men are called sir, the women are called bhabhi. So I think those are small things where you have to navigate, but
hilarious.
you have to, and the only way you get in buy-in is by doing serious work. I mean, you can go and tell people, don't call me bhabhi, but at the end of the day, I think you have to prove yourself, and which one has to.
And over time, then people learn that you are there in your own capacity.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's remarkable to me that, you did all your education after marriage. So I'm sure your husband must have played a big supporting character role in that movie.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're not saying he allowed you to.
No, I would not. I would not.
Yeah, that's what I normally hear, that you're lucky, you were allowed to. But no, absolutely. I think, for a couple who's married, it's a true partnership. I think we support each other.
I think it's not a question of allowing you to, as in participating in your decision.
Absolutely. And it's very, very critical because, I mean, it's critical for both people, right? To participate in each other's. We do heavy lifting for each other. That's a true partnership.
Sure.
And he did, absolutely. I think, my children were very young. And he was, I mean, there were assignments. I was doing assignments after putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
And he would say, okay, don't worry, I'll take care. I think we cut out our social life completely because the only time I could really study was late nights. I think it's a matter of pride to have someone like that beside you, standing beside you. But not just my husband, actually, Sangeeta, I'd say, and I come back to this, that I think men can be the biggest cheerleaders for women to actually go and prove themselves, achieve something, if they choose to.
Yes.
And two such men, which is my father and my father-in-law, played such an important role in this journey to say that, we are with you. We're so proud that you're doing this. I understand your children are young, but it's okay. This is important.
I have one question. Before we end, because I'm so curious about that. I don't know how many people know that you have actually made 2 feature films also.
Yes.
Apart from all of this that you have been doing, you have also done 2 feature films. How about that?
Yeah,
I mean, where
think
is finance and feature? I mean, they're F and F, but how do they link?
there is this absolute, I think, bashing that I do on this one particular phrase that is used for women, which is that we are born multitaskers. And I keep saying that we're not. We're not born. We don't have a choice. So we multitask, right? But we're definitely multidimensional. And I think that's where I feel, like I said, right, we don't have compartments. All of it sort of is a connected journey. So for me, I think filmmaking, one, happened by chance because I was doing this entire homework on creating a film fund for our wealth outfit, where everybody at some point in time wanted one foot in media and entertainment. So I said, okay, let me try and create and see if there's a fund. And we came to the realization that a fund is not the best offering for anybody who wants to invest in this space. Second, I lost my mother very early on, and she was the creative force in our family. She was an artist. She's the one who made sure that all of us got musically trained. We understood the arts.
Do you say?
I try to. But yes, she made us, she made all of us get a Hindustani classical training.
Oh, lovely.
Much to our, at that point in time, we detested it,
Of
right?
course,
But
yes.
we all understand music, we understand the arts. And when we lost her, I realized that, she kept saying that. She was very disappointed in the three of us, that none of you have taken up the arts. So just as an ode to her, I really wanted to do something there. And there was this beautiful script that came to me. It was the right time. I think, when something has to happen, everything falls into place.
Comes together.
So I created a separate company of my own, a very small company called Ishka. The idea was to make films that are quirky, have a shelf life, that my children will want to watch. Because at that point in time, they were not watching any Bollywood. So produced films, 2 features and a few short films so far. It started as an ode to my mother, but it continued as, my creative sort of, people keep saying, think out of the box. That's my out of the box.
Your
thinking.
energy, your creative energy is
Absolutely.
happening there, over
and
there.
then I realized actually it sort of, I think my skill set in financial services helped, make those films very effectively within budget. But my learnings in the film world actually brought a lot of creativity to what I do. And particularly if you look at Lakshmi, there's a lot of content that we do. So I think it sort of feeds off each other.
Wonderful. So hopefully we can look forward to something more coming
Absolutely.
from Ishka.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Preeti, thank you so much for this conversation. This has been an absolute delight. And like I said, every part of it is peppered with learnings and lessons and insights. It's such a wealth of insights that have come our way today. And I'm sure everybody who's watching is with me when I say that it's possible to work miracles. You prove that it's possible to work miracles. So all the best with Lakshmi. I'm sure it's going great guns. And look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you for having me. The one thing I'd like to say is that I have huge admiration for you.
Oh, thank you.
I think when I met you first, my writing skills improved. For
I'm
sure.
glad.
You remember you did that
Yes,
session?
Yes,
But
I
I think
remember.
Every time we meet, there's so much I take away, so much I learn. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being in my life.